What's going on, fam? It's your boy Tony here for Unapologetically Confused. This is a new series I'm gonna start called Van Rooftop Talks. Of course, I'm not on the top of the van. The weather isn't good where I'm at right now in Pennsylvania. I do want to start this series and possibly start having this conversation on different topics. Of course, those of you who are aware, Unapologetically Confused is a channel for talks, politics, religion, financial, whatever, right? And then my other page, which is Bearded Bully, is more about van life, the life and times of Hanzo, and also 2A content. So the first episode is about the American sweetheart, the American darling, Catlin Clark. Before we get started, there's going to have to be some things discussed so we have a baseline of what the discussion is about. So let's talk about the people in the conversation about Catlin Clark. First of all, let's go ahead and talk about she's 22 years old. She graduated from the University of Iowa. She was born and raised in Iowa. So there are a group of fans from Iowa who love one of their own. Because Iowa doesn't have anything except for corn. And I'm not talking about the music group, I'm talking about actual corn. So those people, hey, just like how LeBron's from Cleveland, Cleveland loves LeBron, like that. So Iowa, Catlin Clark. We got that, right? That's the first group of people. The second group of people are those who love a Cinderella story. Whether good or bad, they love that story. So a woman from Iowa becomes one of the best college basketball players. She's taken on these titans, supposedly on a team, that doesn't have any other good players, which we know to be false because another one of the players did get drafted into the WNBA and is playing and didn't get cut from their team. Against these big programs, Iowa's not a big program like LSU, South Carolina, all of them when it came to women's basketball. So that's two groups of people. Then you have those who respect Catlin Clark for what she's doing for the game of basketball. Then you have another group of Catlin Clark that ultimately despises her. They think she's only getting the praise because she's white. They think that Angel Reese and University of South Carolina and others, Juju Watkins and others, didn't get the respect they deserve because everybody was hyping up Catlin Clark. Then you get true basketball fans who love sports and don't really root for anybody in particular. They just want to see good sportsmanship, good athleticism, a good game. And then lastly, you have, and we have to say it, you have the racists who love the great white hope. That is who Catlin Clark is to them. She is taking on the big bad black women basketball players that some of them think look like monkeys, some of them look like are men dressed up as women, and of course being lesbian. Some of them, they disdain that. So those are the people involved in the discussion about Catlin Clark. All right, only 2, maybe 3 of those are sane when it comes to the discussion. Now let's talk about Catlin Clark. Catlin Clark is a phenomenal basketball player. With flaws, it's still phenomenal. We'll talk about those flaws. You can agree or disagree, but watching basketball, playing basketball, watching basketball, having a love for basketball, these are the things I noticed. She is one of the greatest college basketball players of all time, despite never winning a championship. And that is a fact. She never won a championship, okay? 2 years she made it to the finals. She lost to LSU and Angel Reese with a famous stat, which sparked the whole Larry Bird, Magic Johnson thing. And then losing to South Carolina. She is the all-time leading NCAA Division I scorer. She's not the all-time leading. At the time, she wasn't even the all-time leading Division I scorer. That was held for Lynette Woodard. But they say It wasn't the NCAA. So terminology, pay attention to terminology. So she's the leading NCAA, not college. All right, Division I. And then she isn't the leading college of all time. That is reserved for Pearl Moore, who is the all-time leading scorer of college basketball of all time. But she was Division II and not Division I. That's why they say Division I all-time leading scorer. So NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer. So semantics. But I want the truth to be there before we get into the discussion, because we don't want to argue over non-facts when we're being factual. We have the facts out, so all the other discussion is out the way. Facts, right? She deserved to be the number one pick. Do I think she's the best fit for the team she went to? No, I don't. But you had to pick Catlin Clark. It's marketing, it's everything that goes along with it. All their games are sold out. So even though they're losing, they're the second worst team in the NBA. That is also a fact. But you had to pick her. If I had my choice, I would have picked Cameron Brink. I think she is a phenomenal player. I think she's extremely popular. I think she's extremely beautiful. I think she has a pretty great skill set, even though she does have flaws as well. All right. As does Angel Reese, Cordosa. All of them had some type of flaw. And that's why when Gino Auriemma said this wasn't even the best draft class of all time, he was right, because it wasn't. Let's see here. Any other facts about college basketball? No, that's it. All right, so the reason why we're having this discussion is because a lot of people are trying to talk about whether Catlin Clark should have made the women's Olympic team or not, since she did. And I will say that she should have made the women's Olympics team. The WNBA is on a trajectory, right? They are trying to get to where the NBA is at, and little by little, people are pushing it. We had to have a league. I think they tried to overdo the league and they had to draw back because it wasn't making as much money as expected, wasn't having enough eyeballs as expected. But things are changing now because of people like Angel Reese. You have to say Angel Reese because she has more followers. She has more of a brand. She was making more money in NIL than Catlin Clark was. Then you have Catlin Clark, who was number one jersey selling. She was, despite losing, her team was picked for SNL. Jill Biden wanted her team to come to the White House along with LSU, even though they lost and they never done that before. But anyway, Catlin Clark. And then you have Cameron Brink, and you have all the others. But those are the three most popular, right? And none of them made the team. I don't think based off of skills, any of them deserved it. I would say, because Cordosa is probably going to play for Brazil. Cameron Brink probably, chemistry-wise, probably had a chance. Only because, of her role, she could really replace like a Brittany Griner or someone like that. And Brittany's currently injured, so I don't know if she'll be able to play when it's time for the Olympics or not. But she would be a great replacement. Honestly, I think they should have expanded it from 12 to 15 and added those three to the team. Now, do I feel like Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, and Catlin Clark are 12 of the best current female basketball players in the WNBA? No, I don't. Catlin Clark's numbers are pretty good. Angel Reese's numbers are pretty good when it comes to rebounds. But they don't have Olympic experience. But of course, the only way to get Olympic experience is to actually participate in the Olympics. The other part of it is some of their flaws actually will hurt them more than anything else. Angel Reese, she is a hustle player. She can be very dominant against those who are smaller than her. She's a great bully. It's just hard to bully people who are bigger. As you've seen when LSU played South Carolina and she had to go up against Cordosa, she couldn't do anything because, yeah, you're used to pushing other little girls around, but when it comes to pushing a grown-ass woman around, it's a lot harder. So it makes it tough. She needs to work on her footwork. Her footwork is terrible around the basket. Her pivot moves, all that is horrendous. And she is slow. I don't know if her shoes are too small, what it is, but she cannot run. Cordosa is way bigger than her, probably outweighs her by 20 pounds, and is probably 2 to 3 inches taller than her, and runs way faster than she does. She needs to work on her jump shot. Cameron Brink is a little undersized. She's a little thinner, so she can get pushed around in the paint. She made a 3 the other day. Her shooting isn't as bad. I'd like to see her being able to do more around the basket. She needs to work on her footwork as well and her jump shot. But she is a nice help defender. She has more lateral movement than the other two that I spoke of. And Catlin Clark, who, now let's go into these flaws real quick. She whines. Anytime she thinks she's got fouled or someone strips the ball, she's like, refs, every time. Doesn't get back on defense. That is the worst thing to see. You get stripped, you need to go back on defense as quick as possible. Stop the play, get the ball back, do whatever you can. Not that Luka Doncic, LeBron James, there's other players that have done it in the past too, but those are the most popular ones to do it. She doesn't have a left hand. As someone who grew up not having a left hand, I know when someone doesn't have a left hand. She does not have a left hand. She needs to improve on that. Their off season is so short when it comes to from college to the WNBA. So I'm pretty sure next season she will progress so vastly, so much better from season rookie year to year 2 because she'll have the time off to actually work on her game. So she takes bad shots, a lot of long distance bad shots, but she makes some shots. She has that Steph Curry effect going on. But when it comes to her left hand is trash. So she'll work on that. Her defense, a lot of people don't play defense in the NBA, but we're not talking about the NBA. We're talking about the WNBA. That's another fact. So for those of you like, oh, they don't play defense in the NBA. Well, the NBA is entertainment. It's entertainment that just happens to be playing basketball. The WNBA is basketball players trying to entertain. That's the difference between the two. So her defense is trash. She needs to work on her defense. She needs to work on sliding her feet. She needs to work on staying in front of the defender and not always letting the defender blow past her, because especially the team she's on right now, she doesn't even have help defenders to stop people when they get to the paint. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, all right, all the facts, flaws, the good things, all that, right? When it comes to this USA team, right, the women's team has been dominant for years. There's nobody touching them, all right? And they're like the dream team, the US dream team. Every year they play in the Olympics. So the team that's currently there are great players, and most of them are in the top 12 of WNBA players. Now, there's some that Sabrina, I don't think she's the best player on her team, so I don't know if she's top. I don't think she's top 12 because she's popular, shoe deal, you know, the whole Kobe thing. So she is a great player, or good player, great, whatever you want to classify her as. I'm not having that discussion. That's something totally different. Is she deserving? I don't know. Diana Taurasi. She is getting up there in age. I love her. DT to me, I'm putting it out there. DT is the GOAT. All right? DT is the GOAT. I think she was the GOAT of college. I think she's the GOAT of the WNBA. I think Maya Moore had the chance to beat that. And Maya Moore might be tied with her, Breanna Stewart, them three as the GOATs of college basketball because they did win. The only reason why I can't put Catlin Clark in there is because she didn't win. Okay, she didn't win a championship. If you won a championship, you can be in the GOAT discussion. You don't win no championships, you can't be. It's automatic. You can't be in the GOAT discussion. Sorry, no discussing that. But DT is year 20. She has bestowed a lot of experience, mentorship to all the other players. A lot of these players, this is not their first Olympic team run, so it's not like they need her because everybody's new. So I would say when it comes to who could be removed from the team, I think Diana Taurasi, as much as I love her to death, year 20, she probably should have bowed out the last time, year 16 or year 18. But year 20 in the league, yeah, that's the position Catlin Clark can fill. She's not gonna be a hard-nosed defender like DT, and she's not gonna be a Draymond Green type of player when it comes to physicality and not taking no shit. That's not gonna be Catlin Clark. We get that, right? But when it comes to shooting, getting to the basket, and passing, because she is second in the league in assists, that would be her. But also, Catlin doesn't have to play. Last Olympic team, Skylar Diggins was on there. She didn't get no run at all. None. And Skylar Diggins, to me, was one of the better point guards in the league. She didn't get no run. So, it's not like Catlin has to play. Now that we discussed who she could replace, let's talk about why she should be on the team. Popularity. She's a good enough player and popular enough to play. Now, if she was just popular but she wasn't that great, then I can understand it. But she's actually really, really good. She has she's a rookie. She has some growing pains to go through. I think they should reserve college basketball, like 1 or 2 spots for college basketball for the first, if it coincides with the Olympics, to have that player join. So like how Christian Laettner got to join, right? And be on there. He won the championship, so he got it overshadowed. And since Cardoso will be playing for Brazil, then we'll go with the runner-up, which will be Catlin Clark. Again, they should expand it to 15 and add the 3 other players. But, excuse me, they're not going to do that. But it's about popularity. The dream team. Yes, we want to be dominant in the Olympics, but we also want it to have a world brand, right? How do you think Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson and D'Lo and all these other players have shoe deals with Chinese companies? How do you think we have a Giannis and a Jokic and a Luka and a Embiid and all these other players? International game, because we took Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson, and David Robinson, and Chris Mullin, and all these other players overseas to play basketball in Barcelona and all these places, and everybody loved them. Everybody wanted to see them. And that's how we got to where we are today for the NBA. We want the same thing for the WNBA. We want that same popularity. We want that same influence. For those of you who talk basketball or think you talk basketball or want to have a brief discussion because racism is involved with it, so you want to talk about how, Olympic game is about the gold medal and it's not about money, it's not about business. It is about business. The WNBA is trying to grow their brand. So anything that can help grow their brand needs to be done, as long as it isn't detrimental to the league and the players itself. Keeping Diana Taurasi off of the Olympic team is not detrimental to the WNBA, and it is not detrimental to the Olympic team. They will still, with Asia Wilson, who is the best current basketball player right now, with Stewie on there, Kelsey Plum, all of them, they're not losing. Those are great basketball players who are competitive as fuck. All right, they're not going to lose. So adding a Catlin Clark builds the brand. It makes it more popular. It puts more asses in seats. It sells more jerseys. It sells more tickets. It allows them to do charter flights everywhere. Okay? It allows them, the arenas, to make more money, ownership groups to make more money, people selling concessions to make more money. It's a win-win. Leaving her off the team is no win. There's nothing special that happens by leaving her off the team. Nothing. You don't increase nothing, no momentum or nothing for the WNBA by doing so. Like, it makes no sense. And it'll also, with her competing with all them other players in practice, training with them other players, will make Catlin Clark a better player, which in turn will make the WNBA player better. Because if you look at it, say Catlin Clark, where she currently is as a rookie right now, that's as good as she ends up being. She doesn't get no better. Is that a win for the WNBA? I don't think so. For the WNBA, we want her to be the next Diana Taurasi. She has to be. With the momentum she currently has, she has to be. Just like Angel Reese. Angel Reese has to become the next Candace Parker. Her momentum is too great not to. Cameron Brink has to be the next Lisa Leslie. Her trajectory, her fan base, all that is too great not to be. So you as the WNBA, you as any fan of women's sports, especially women's basketball, should be looking at that. The Olympic Committee should be looking at that because you want this brand to grow. You want more revenue. You want more eyes. You want more asses and seats. So you need this to happen. So for me, is Catlin Clark one of the top 12 best players in the WNBA right now? No. Do I care? No. The Dream Team, Magic wasn't even in the league. Larry Bird's back was broke. He wasn't the best player. He wasn't top 12. David Robinson was starting to fall apart. He wasn't top 12. I mean, he was probably top 3 centers. But then again, Elijah Wan was playing over in Africa, I believe, for one of the African teams. So, no. Most of them people were old. Chuck was getting old. Chris Mullin was old. It wasn't about the best 12 players on a team. Like, how many Olympic teams, men NBA teams, have been the 12 best players? Kobe missed 2 Olympic teams. The Olympic team that LeBron and Melo was on the first year that they were there when they lost, I don't think they were top 12. And they didn't even play. So it isn't about the top 12. Yes, you want most of the best players to play, especially in the WNBA, because the NBA, your brand is so big now and you make so much money, you don't have to play. And that's what we've been running into, to where they should be obligated to play, but they haven't. Like LeBron should be playing more, like LeBron should have been in the dunk contest. All those things that should have happened haven't been happening, and that's why we lost the last time. But for the WNBA, they're not to that point yet. So while they're not to that point yet, you have time to make things happen your way. And your way should have been Catlin Clark. Not because she's the best, but she's good enough. Not because she's the most popular. She's close enough. And because you had a player already there that you could have easily replaced, and only the people that would have batted eye would have been the other players. Everybody else would have been cool with it. The fans would have been cool with it. I love Durant. I love DT. I love Diana Taurasi. I think she's one of the best players ever. But the WNBA has a problem with holding on to players way too long and promoting them way too long. Sue Bird, love her to death, was there too long. Becky Hammond. I mean, you go down the list. Cynthia. I can't even say her last name. Fouls. You go down a list of players who stay too long. Like, the NBA has a thing. Most players, especially superstars, once you start falling off, you usually get the boot. Blake Griffin. High upside, high trajectory. Once you start falling off, yeah, we'll give you a few more years, done. AI, done. Marbury, done. It happens because you have to make room for new stars. Now, if there's no new stars, then no, do not make room. But there's new stars, so you need to make room for them. So I say all that to say this. Yes, the Olympic Committee effed up. Catlin Clark should have been on the team. Simple as that. You should have did it based off of college stats. You should have saved the position based off of college stats, and she would have been the shoo-in for it. Because they wouldn't have played another college game before then. She'd have been it. And if you said, no, we're going to do it for the top two, you could have put her and Cameron Brink or her and Angel Reese in there together. I honestly think 15-woman roster, all three. But, you know, that doesn't make full sense. But if we're going to do it, we should do it. But again, Catlin Clark could replace DT, and it wouldn't do anything to hurt the game at all. It would only elevate it more. And that's what we're trying to do, right? Elevate the game. So, welcome to the discussion. I appreciate you for watching. Please like. If you don't like, double tap the thumbs down button. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. And please share this video with your friends and family. And to those wannabe new basketball fans who just jumped on because of Catlin Clark and don't know anything about the history of the WNBA. Yeah, they don't know anything. And it's okay to have your great white hope. For those of you who are racist and think that that's what, well, don't think. We know that's who she is to you. Because there's going to be people that hate her because of what she is. You know? So there's going to be people who hate her because she's heterosexual. And people don't hate her because she's white. We all go through it. It's a messed up world we live in. Same thing happens with Angel Reese right now. Same thing. There's probably some people that hate Cameron Brink. They probably think she's too tall or too skinny. Like, it's going to be somebody that hates for some reason, because for some reason we all want to be haters. I don't get it. And on that note, you should listen to Infinity Song's song, Haters Anthem. That would give you a good idea of what a hater is and how it feels to be a hater. So on that note, I'll catch you again. Hopefully the next one will actually be on the van roof, so we can do some real rooftop talks. Again, it's your boy, Tony, for Unapologetically Confused, signing off. Peace.